Hi, it's Scott from Chicago, and you're listening to Two Broads Talking Politics.
Are you listening?
Hey everyone, this is Kelly with Two Broads Talking Politics. I'm here with my co-host Sophie. Hey Sophie.
Hey Kelly.
And joining us tonight is Scott Nevins. Scott is an award-winning host, TV radio personality. He's from the Bravo TV series The People's Couch and from CNN International. Hi Scott.
Hey ladies, how are you?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my God, I've been looking forward to this forever. Thank you.
So we're going to talk some about politics and political activism, but can you start by telling us a little bit about your background, about you growing up, and then how you got into TV?
Sure. So I grew up in a very blue-collar, middle-class family in Flushing, Queens, just like the nanny. I am the other flashy girl from Flushing. And I grew up in a great Irish Catholic family, and I went to 14 years of Catholic school, and it was a very sort of suburban life, very close to New York City. And so I was very fortunate to get to go into the city, and I had an Aunt Grace who I was best friends with my whole life, who would take me into New York City, and we'd see Broadway shows, and we'd go to art galleries and museums, and she was pretty amazing, and she exposed me to a lot of that stuff. And from the moment I saw my first Broadway show, I knew I wanted to be in show business. And the, sad turn of events is that I really can't sing. I'm sort of tone deaf and I can't really dance. So I was sort of stuck as what to do. And I got more into directing and producing. And I studied that in college, and I was able to get out of college. I went to SUNY Purchase in Westchester, New York, and I left there after 3 years, graduated, and beat everybody for show of the year. As a junior, I beat all the seniors. I was very proud of that at the time. And so I was able to graduate early, and I moved down to Manhattan and just started working and producing shows, directing them. And someone gave me the opportunity to host my own show. And it sort of propelled me into doing Sirius satellite radio and television. I did this kooky show called True TV Presents The World's Dumbest, with the likes of Danny Bonaducci and Tanya Harding. So I was really skyrocketing in my career goals there. And so it's all led to me moving to California, living in Los Angeles, and getting cast on The People's Couch on Bravo, which, for those who don't know, was a show which sort of depicts the end of civilization as we know it, because the whole conceit of the show is that you are watching us watch TV. That's the whole show. And it was a huge hit in the UK. It was called Gogglebox, and it was a huge hit. And they brought it to the States, and they cast myself and my two friends, Emerson and Blake, and then they built all these other families around us. And it ran for 5 seasons. I was very proud of it. And during the last season and a half, we entered into the election season for president in 2016. And I have always been very political from, I guess, the age of like 21, 22 onwards. And being on TV, being on Bravo, which I'm not sure if you guys know, but they really do have a core audience of gay men and women who live in red states. And so it was sort of a risky thing, because I had these women who said, "Oh, I love you. You're so funny, blah, blah, blah." And I would go and sort of creep their Twitter accounts, and I'd see "Make America Great Again" and hashtag Magga. And I would go after them politely and say, you say you love me and you think we're hilarious. You're standing with somebody who's going to vote against my civil rights and do terrible things to this country. Of course, that, as we all know, that fell on deaf ears. But I became very vocal. And as far as I know, Bravo was okay with it. The only comment I ever heard was, as long as you make it clear that it's your opinion and not Bravo's, we're fine. And that sort of snowballed into people stopping me in airports saying, "Oh my God, I love you" on The People's Couch, to saying, "Oh my God, I love following you on Facebook and Twitter. I love your political posts," and they keep me informed. And I started to realize that I was filling a void for some people who may have gravitated towards me because I tweeted about entertainment stuff. And here I was segueing into politics, and they realized that this was an important election and that I was trying to help keep people informed. And then, of course, that led to doing appearances on HLN and CNN International as a correspondent whenever it was LGBTQ issues or when politics met entertainment. And it's been a fun ride. But I will tell you, like, it has affected my career being this open about politics, because that Bravo core base, a lot of them are still with me, but a lot of them did peel away during the election and in sort of harsh ways, and, you know, repeating a lot of falsehoods about Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party and believing, you know, some of the snake oil salesman stuff that Trump was selling. And so, but I felt that for those that I lost, I replaced them with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of really engaged, really passionate, really smart followers. And that is why I spend so much of my day posting news stories with my own commentary and sort of keeping in touch with so many people and trying to keep them engaged.
Yeah, I've been really paying a lot of attention in the past 6 months, year or so, to the number of celebrities who are really politically engaged in ways that I don't think it was just that I didn't notice before. It really feels that it's different. You know, and so we see Alyssa Milano and Piper Perabo and Patty Arquette and all these people who are like, their Twitter feeds are just politics, like all the time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I wonder if you could sort of tease that out a little bit. You know, to what extent is it sort of in your nature to do this? How much of it feels like a responsibility you have as someone with a big following and a public face? You know, what all goes into sort of your decisions to be really politically active?
It's so funny. You know, no one has ever asked me that question, and I love that question. So thank you, because I've wanted to talk about this for a long time. It was a really conscious decision because I was on a TV show. As I told you, the demographic was there, and I knew it was risky, but I felt that what was at stake was more important, and I still feel that. And so, you know, those little blue verified check marks are very powerful. I have them on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. And it's a very powerful thing because people gravitate towards you more and they expect something from you. And so when it was an occasional post that I would say during the beginning of the election when we were in the primaries, you know, it would get a little action, and then it was like, okay, let's go back to talking about that crazy TV show, Sex Sent Me to the ER. You know, like it was always this balance of funny and politics. And then I really ramped up when it was looking like it was going to be Donald Trump as the nominee, and when I was certain it was Hillary Clinton, but there was a lot of division between was it going to be Hillary or Bernie. And I became really outspoken. And that decision did not come lightly. I spoke to a lot of friends in the business who have much larger followings than I do and who are much more famous. And they said things to me like, wow, you're really brave. And I just looked at them one night at dinner. I said, that's not brave. I was like, what are we risking? Followers? I said, I know that that's what our industry is sort of based on now, but there's so many out there. There are people out there that don't understand what's going on, and we have a voice. We need to use it. It's not brave. It's our duty. I said, this is a place where I can help. This is something I can actually do that's tangible. I can't, you know, at this time run for political office. I can't do certain things that I want to do right now, but I can do this. I can help keep people informed. And I'm proud to say a lot of those friends did sort of come around and they said, you know, we appreciate you sort of giving us that pep talk. So we realized that we can't be hiding in the corner and worried about our fan base. And I think at the end of the day, people like Alyssa Milano have seen a newfound fan base because of this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but she now has 2 Twitter accounts. One is for show business, one is for politics and stuff like that. And which is great because some people really just want to live in a fantasy world where none of this is going on and they just want to hear about her and whatever, you know, I don't know, Hallmark movie, whatever she's doing, I mean that in the best light.
She's in a great Netflix show right now, by the way.
That's it, Netflix. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Hallmark. I was thinking Hallmark because the truth is I spend every night of my life in front of the TV late at night watching reruns of The Golden Girls, which to this day is the greatest television sitcom in history. But I digress. So I did feel a major responsibility, but I will say, as the numbers started to climb, and I really don't have a huge following in the sense of like an Alyssa Milano or any of those people. But as the numbers started growing and sort of fellow performers or celebrities were starting to follow me and comment with me, I did feel a responsibility. And when something happens during the day, I sort of stop in my tracks and go, okay, I got to post about this. To the point where my partner is like, okay, you can put the phone down. Like, these people will survive if you don't tell them this new horrible thing that the, Department of Justice just said. And I was like, no, I know, but just let me get it out there. And
my husband says the same thing.
Yeah, right. And it's about finding balance, right? Like, we need to find balance there, because during the election, it definitely consumed a lot of my time. And that devastating night on election night, after that, I sort of went silent for a few days and then, creeped out and thought, okay, well, if people were looking towards me, I really do need to be positive and figure out how to speak to this. And I was honest. I tweeted something along the lines of like, I'm devastated. I've, stayed in my house for 2 days and, but now we have to face this and we have to figure out how we fix this. And I think that's the journey I've been on for the past almost 2 years is how do I play my part in fixing this? And it's come in the form of, the stuff I do on social media, but it's also come in the form of this initiative that I'm working on called Center of Attention, where I'm attempting to travel to, and I've done a few of them already, travel to local LGBTQ centers all over the country in little towns like Pocatello, Idaho, and little places where they really need these centers and they're failing because they're not getting the funding they need. And I go there and I perform my one-man comedy show as a fundraiser for them to help keep the doors open. And we've done a few. I went to Visalia, California, which people hear California and they say, oh, blue state. It is this red dot. It's where Devin Nunes district is. And there's this little town inside that red dot that's a tiny blue dot. And I went there because they were doing their second gay pride. And I went and I did my show and it was great. And I went to Starkville, Mississippi, because they were denied their gay pride parade. And I tweeted the mayor and said, I will come there and do my show as your gay pride event so people have something to go to. And they said yes. And then the parade was approved because of all the press. So I actually was in the parade and then I did the show that night for 800 people. And it was amazing to be in Starkville, Mississippi and in the parade. And lining the streets were families that looked like the type of families we would all judge as Trump supporters. And there they were holding gay pride flags with their little daughters, little sons holding gay pride flags, cheering us on, holding signs that say love wins. And it moved me. It moved me in such a way. And, I was there to do a comedy show that night, but I opened the show with the most, touching, sappy sort of proclamation to how touched I was by what I saw there. And that's the future of this country, by the way. That's the America that's always been great and will continue to be great, are those people who are in places like Mississippi who are standing up saying, I am not like the stereotype that you've heard of Southerners. Like, I am here to show you that I am a progressive, I'm a Democrat, I'm a centrist, but I believe in equality and I believe in taking care of people and healthcare and paying our teachers and all of these simple things that just seem so obvious to us that just Republicans just seem to take them as these issues of offense. And it's mind-boggling.
So you had mentioned LGBT rights and healthcare. Can we just maybe talk briefly about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 of the political topics that are the most important to you?
All right. Let's see. It's a good question. It's hard to break it down, but I think, obviously the most important political topic to me is that people vote. And that is tied in with voter suppression and gerrymandering and how it is out of control in this country. And when we have elections where we see that it is African-American women who are dragging the Democrats across the finish line as winners, and we see that when we engage minority communities and when we include them and when we have people in our elected offices that are from those communities, we win. And that's important to me. And so there's a twofold there, right? There's the responsibility of the Democratic Party to say, yes, we are the party of inclusion, but we need to walk the walk and talk the talk and have these people stand with us. And then there's the flip side, which is the Republicans who will do anything to stop minority groups from voting.